Greetings and welcome to Inspired Messages. Today we talk about the second part of Adam and Eve. If this is your first time visiting, welcome. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like the video, and share the link. Today we have a packed episode so that we can continue dissecting the concept of Adam and Eve. So let's dive in. In part 1, we broke down the concept of the word atom, A-T-O-M, A-T-U-M, and Ad-M, which spells Da-Ma. And we explained how the atom exists in all life. And so whether you are male or female, you have both aspects of yourself, and that is called the androgen. So the atom is the androgen. So today we're going to take apart the androgen, and we're going to talk about the Adam aspect and the Eve aspect, but keep in mind they're all one. So as we stated before, the definitions that we have researched are coming from the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary and the Dictionary of All Scriptures and Myths. And the definition of Eve states, a symbol of union in the soul of the mental principle. It says, in the day that God created man in the likeness of God, made he him male and female, created he them, and blessed them and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. It goes on to say that this passage refers to the progeny of the mind, which are thought states which proceed successfully when the mind came forth in its perfection as the image of God. The mind was endowed with sparks of the eternal fire, and sparks and fire are in quotations, namely the reason and intuitive principles. And the blessing signifies the divine will operating through human consciousness. And recall in the, as I was reading the previous segment, it says, and blessed them and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. Their name, not their names, but their name. So the Adam and Eve were called Adam, A-D-A-M. So he called both male and female Adam, A-D-A-M. So now let's look at the definition from the other book, which is the Dictionary of All Scriptures and Myths. And it defines Eve as a symbol of the emotion nature united to the mental nature of the lower mind. Now, before we proceed, it states at the top, Eve, wife of Adam. So now we're describing the aspect of Adam, the Eve aspect, which is the wife of Adam. And it says, the mind recognizes the life principle within the soul to be the emotion nature, for it is the originator or former of all qualities that subsist, that is, of all qualities that have in them the germ of the higher life. So in continuation, it states that Eve, the first woman, and the man called his wife's name Eve because She was the mother of all living, the mother of all living. And so it says the metaphysical meaning is love or feeling in individual consciousness. The I am wisdom puts feeling into what it thinks, and so Eve, which is feeling, becomes the mother of all living. Feeling is spirit, which quickens. Woman symbolizes the soul region of man and is the mother principle of God in expression. So those are the definitions for Eve. So now we're going to read the definitions for Adam in order for us to merge the two. And so for the definition for Adam, it states, the name of the first man of the human race according to the Bible. And it says the metaphysical meaning is the first movement of mind in its contact with life and substance. Adam also represents the generic man or the whole human race epitomized in an individual man idea. And it says Eve is the feminine aspect of generic man, outwardly manifest. Male and female created he them. If the ego or will, which is man, has adhered to wisdom faithfully and has carried out in its work the plans that are idealized in wisdom, it has created a harmonious consciousness. So here we see that the principle of Adam again is referring to consciousness, which is the mental. So now let's look at the definition of Adam from the Dictionary of Scriptures and Myths, and it states that now here it goes even a step further, where it divides the atom as having a lower aspect and a higher aspect. And so then it also, in the lower aspect, it states where there's like 4 different types of atoms, but what it's defining is that there are 4 different levels of consciousness, or I would say the, how do you call it, the in other words, dimensions. And that's how I grasp the interpretation of the different atoms and interpretation of dimensions. And so it says the lower aspect of Adam is a symbol of the lower mind, energized from the desired plane, but receptive of impressions from the higher nature. This is the fallen mind, Adam. And it says we must consider that the man who was formed of earth means the mind which is to be infused into the body. And that's the definition for the lower Adam. And then it defines the Adam as the higher aspect, a symbol of the divine nature of humanity, the archetypal man, or on the 3 higher planes. It goes on to say, so the first man is called by us Thaw, and by them Adam, not giving his true name in the language of the angels, but naming him symbolically according to his body by the 4 elements. The suggestion here is to give to the symbol Thaw its highest meaning, i.e. Atma, Buddhi means, or Buddhai, in other words, the Buddha means the same as Thaw, which stands for the archetypal man, which lower four elements. So that means that the lower atom and the higher atom clearly is evident of the macrocosm and microcosm, and also the as above so below principle. And this is what's coming to me in my comprehension as I'm reading through these texts. And also another thing that came to mind was the principle of mentalism from the 7 Hermetic principles. And it says, the all is mind, the universe is mental. Because as you can see, all of these definitions are all referring to the mind and consciousness, which gives me more reason to share with you that it is so imperative that we raise our consciousness so that we merge our lower and higher aspects, the lower and higher aspects of ourselves. Adam, in his original creation, was in spiritual illumination. Spirit breathed into him, breathed into him continually the necessary inspiration and knowledge to give him superior understanding. But he began eating or appropriating ideas of two powers, God and not God, or good and evil. The result, so the allegory relates, was that he fell away from spiritual life and all that it involves. Man is spirit, absolute and unconditioned, but man forms an Adamic consciousness into which he breathes the breath of life. This, in its perfect expression, is the Son of Man, an expression of the divine idea. This atom is all of what we term soul, intellect, and body. We are continually at work with this atom. We can breathe into his nostrils the breath of life, inspiring him with the idea of life in all of its unlimited fullness. We can lift up this atom by infusing into him these sublime ideas and in no other way. The new man is weak and little developed at first, but by increments of truth, he is gradually renewed or evolved after the perfect pattern of Christ-like, his divine progenitor, until the two again become one. The whole universe was incomplete and did not receive its finishing stroke till man was formed. Man is the acme of creation and the microcosm uniting in himself the totality of beings. The heavenly Adam, who emanated from the highest primordial obscurity, created the earthly atom. The ideal man, in whom all men have their unity and reality, so that when a person rises to the ground and reality of his essential being, he partakes of becoming one with him to be Christ-like and one with God. All creatures that have flawed out from God must become united into one man who comes again into the unity Adam was in before he fell. This is accomplished in Christ-like according to the truth. This is accomplished in Christ according to this truth. All creatures are one man, and this Adam is God. It is clear that we are more powerful than we can imagine. It is clear that we must elevate, we must raise our consciousness so that we may come again. This is the concept of that Jesus is coming again. That again is you merging your lower and higher selves to become Christ-like. The consciousness, the mind, the God, so that you are aware and you know thyself that ye are God's. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to leave your comments below or questions. And once again, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button if this message has inspired you, and share the link. And until next time, walk in your power.